Hello. Yeah. How do you come backwards? I don't know. I've never tried. What in the Jeez. Yes, because that's, okay. Alright, I'm gonna restart OBS. Okay, that should work now. Thoughts on Skill Up saying Silent Hill F is a great game? I think anybody... Silent Hill is like a fucking garbage franchise, for one thing. I played a little bit of Silent Hill F, and I mean, the game just isn't good. It's got a terrible fucking combat system, and the whole concept of it is just so fucking stupid. You're playing a fucking high school girl and using, like, pole arms to fight monsters. And it's supposed to be, like, grounded to some extent. Like, it's just fucking stupid. But the combat system is just super stiff, janky, like, boring, slow. It's also one of those games where you constantly have to just keep looking at the fucking map. Not my thing. I don't get how anybody can tolerate that shit. The people who think Silent Hill F is a good game, like, you know, they're the types of people who shop at Walmart, you know what I mean? I shop at Walmart, but you get what I'm saying. It's, there's people who like fucking pineapple on pizza, you know what I'm saying? There's just something wrong with them. Still want to play Ninja Gaiden 4, but I really can't handle Ninja Emo Faggot. And $90. I think at one point it was on sale, but yeah, $90 to play a fucking twink. Why wasn't this just the one playable character? Like, for fuck's sakes. Every other fucking game they've made where you played some other character other than Ryu, it's just fucking annoying. all the sections where you play as Rachel or some other ninja Konoichi, just fucking terrible. Doesn't make any like sense, and like that was the like Ryu's being the main fucking protagonist since the beginning. So you've already got the history there where nobody wants to play any other fucking character. Every time they've tried to do it, sucks. And then what do they fucking come up with? Oh, let's have like a fucking character in the game that looks like some fucking emo faggot, but he's a ninja. Everybody'll love that. I just can't fucking get over it. Just why? Drives me fucking nuts. Pooper, do any tellers care to react? Let me see.
The biggest problem in the world right now is a problem.
This is probably going to be stupid.
We do have a new...
Oh, Jesus Christ. I guess so. And new Frank shorts. Let's see, has he burnt down his house yet? Ugh.
What? Dr. Tufano! Dr. Tufano here!
So this is very unexpected and appreciated, but kind of ironic because I actually do have a...
He should not be like, he's probably going to delete this. He's got a court case going on with Taban right now, and then he's openly promoting harassing this guy at his place of work on his YouTube channel. And he's the whole reason they're there. Like, that is just such a stupid move. And they're also trying to get him to be recognized as a vexatious litigant. Like, this is one of the stupidest things you could possibly fucking do.
A paid employee out there doing this right now. And what upset me was he's still booked out till June. You know, I know he's lost some patience, but because these people control all the platforms, Google reviews, they can scrub everything and still get patience. So he's still botching people. He's still probably making plenty of money. The question is, what can we do to make sure I get compensated? You know, how many years do I have to make videos about this guy? How many flyers do I have to hand out in Beverly Hills? I'm legally disabled. I get chronic
He is not legally disabled.
migraines. My eyes...
What the fuck?
How many flyers...
I gotta see that again.
do I have to hand out in Beverly Hills? I'm legally disabled. I get chronic migraines. My eyes wander.
Holy fuck. He got fucked up bad.
If I don't focus, and that's part of the reason I get migraines.
Jesus Christ.
Is the eye muscles are really messed up. And I've gone through 10 surgeries since this guy botched me over 2 years ago now. And all I can do is give people an incentive. I can't afford to pay everyone an hourly wage to stand outside of this guy's office.
By the way, I'm pretty sure you can't get migraines from having, like, fucked up cross eyes. Migraines are, like, a specific type of headache. I can't remember what exactly triggers them, but, yeah, I'm pretty sure, like, it's literally not physically possible to get a migraine headache from something like this.
I don't have the funds, but what I can say is if you contribute to me being compensated by these evil lunatics, I will pay you. Whether it's $10, $20, $30,000, $50,000, when I get my check,
he's never going to get any money.
Who knows when that's going to be? At some point, these people are going to have to compensate me for at least several $1 million. When that happens, I don't know. But if it does and you guys contribute to or help me, I can promise you I will pay you. Like, it's hard to say now. I'm already, you know, spread as thin as possible, paying what I can.
Oh, yeah, he is over-leveraged as fuck.
And to have people hand out flyers, and I'm not really physically well enough to go out there myself, although I want to, and just you know, at least hand out flyers a few times a year and film some videos out there a few times a year. But it is upsetting how much they control all the platforms. And, you know, I mean, I have to incentivize people to help me in some way. You know, if someone made a viral video and the guy got completely canceled, yeah, I mean, of course I'll pay them, I'll compensate them when it comes to that. But I don't trust the court system at all. All these court cases, all these judges, there's no legitimacy to any of it, and I don't expect the court system to compensate me. All the doctors are crooked, all the law firms are crooked, all the courts are crooked, so I have to focus my efforts on making as many people as aware of this guy as possible and spreading the information through everyone. Although, as you can see, that's very difficult because they control all the platforms, but I'm trying my best. There's not much more I can do. I appreciate these guys doing that, and I mean, you know, again, hearing that he's booked out till June still, you know, obviously I need some more help, and we need to work even harder at this because this guy this guy should be in prison, let alone still doing business.
What a fucktard.
I'm down to the last $350 in my savings. Here's is more money, and also I'm buying 7mm knee sleeves instead of saving myself.
That sounds like a good idea. Maybe try to make more money, but, you know. Thanks for the donation, Pino. Hope the knee sleeves work out at least. Sleepy, don't need $2. Dude was holding a flyer with Frank's face on it. This certainly is going to get brought up in court. Especially with a short. Really stupid idea for Frank to do this. Remarkably stupid. Thanks for the donation, Sleepy.
And spec king of women VG, why are women like this VG?
Let me see.
Pick me up now.
You don't tell me what the fuck to do no more, bro. Fuck no. Look at this crazy ass bitch. Stop! Stop! I didn't chill the fuck out, bro. Bro, what the fuck?
Second thoughts. Now you're a single mom. Now you're a single mom. You said
I don't know if this is real. Maybe it is. Like, I kind of feel like it would have to be if they're breaking glass like that. There's just a lot of crazy women, dude. Like, to be fair, there's, like, crazy-ass fucking dudes. Like, what, who is the guy's name? The cuck guy? Whose, like, ex-wife or some shit was fucking a bunch of black dudes. Hunter something. He ended up getting with some new girl, and then her ex-boyfriend tracked her down out of state and was gonna, like, shoot and kill him and her with a shotgun. And then they were able to barricade themselves in their apartment, and then the police ended up shooting and killing the guy. Like, so, yeah, there's crazy dudes out there, too. Thanks for the donation, though, Dodo. Dodo donated $2. Let me see.
That Newton was the first modern scientist is somehow wrong. There's some truth to it, but he really had this very different way of looking at the world.
Yeah, Hunter Avalone. Why aren't you watching the Artemis landing? No, you're 3 hours ahead, but it's live right now. Are you a flat earther? I don't know, man. I don't know.
That was part superstitious and part modern. It was a funny hybrid. He's sort of this transitional figure in some sense. I love this particular quote. Newton was not the first of the age of reason. He was the last of the magicians, the last great mind which looked out on the visible and intellectual world with the same eyes as those who began to build our intellectual inheritance rather less than 10,000 years ago. That phrase, the last of the magicians, really points at something.
What do you think it means? Because the things we know him for, where's the room for superstition?
Yeah, there's a reason why so many of these people, they were often alchemists, they were often very interested in theology, they were often very interested in things which from a modern point of view appear very adjacent to magic. I mean, what are scientists actually doing? We're writing down squiggles on a page based on observations in the world and then using it to accomplish miracles. Yeah. Like that's the outside view. Right? It's exactly what magicians do. If you're an outsider, the ability to launch rockets.
Yeah, I've seen
Deal
this.
with the ongoing genocide of MMIW G2SLGBTQIA+. This is abhorrent. Deal with the ongoing
MMIWG2SLGBTQQIA+ stands for Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women, Girls, and Two-Spirit Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Transgender, Queer, or Questioning, Intersex, and Asexual plus people. This acronym is used in Canada to represent the disproportionate rates of violence, murder, disappearance faced by Indigenous women, girls, gender diverse individual, largely as a result of ongoing colonial violence. Colonial violence, oh my god. Pretty sure there's not a genocide of any of these people going on. And, what the fuck? Like, go to a fucking Indian reserve. It's mostly indigenous people fucking with other indigenous people. So, like, what the fuck are they complaining about? How's that even related to colonialism?
Darwin's theory, the theory of natural selection, is conceptually easier than the theory of gravity. There was this contemporaneous biologist with Darwin, Thomas Huxley, who read this and said, how extremely stupid to not have thought of this. God, why didn't I beat Newton to the punch here?
No.
And so, yeah, what's going on here? Why did Darwinism take so much longer?
It's not actually that the idea was hard. It's not even that the idea was really entirely new. It was that actually he had something different to do than Newton had to do. Yeah. He spent 5 years on the Beagle. He endured, terrible, terrible trials and then took decades more work for him to assemble all of the evidence. It's a different kind of a project, and it is also extraordinarily hard in its own way, even though it appears simpler to have the idea. Yeah, I'm sort of punting on the question. I am pointing out that it is maybe a lot harder than it.
Just religious retards. Those sandwiches look yummy. Thanks for the donation, Dodo. Dodo, $22.
Our viewers here as they get the shot from inside.
Good morning, sir. How are you this morning?
Good morning. Thank you.
President Trump, how do you feel? President Biden?
Well,
Oh, I was supposed to read the thing. Okay, whatever, who cares? What do you think they were crossing the border for? All terrorist names. It's either for terrorism related reasons or drug trafficking reasons, which may or may not be related to terrorism. A lot of terrorist networks make money drug trafficking, so I'm assuming it has something to do with that. No fucking chance. Muhammad, Ali Muhammad, Hamid, Muhammad, Ibrahim, Ayub Khan, like, yeah, give me a fucking break. Just so we're clear, what kind of regime? Child marriage. Not permissible to have vaginal intercourse with the wife before she completes 9 years of age. As for other enjoyments, touching with lust, embracing, no objection. Yeah, I mean, the guy is a piece of shit. He's on good stuff. It's like he's talking. Wow, that's good. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
I'm about to fail college because calculus, but I don't care because school is stupid and I didn't get laid once. Fuck me. I'd quit. It's not like how it's depicted in Superbad, or maybe it is. I just don't get invited to parties and chicks find me unattractive.
Yeah, I mean, school is gay. And, yeah, calculus is pretty gay, too, so I can sympathize. Thanks for the donation, Ben Boy. Sleepy, don't eat chillers. It's funny watching these old Frank videos of terrible health advice.
So most people take creatine thinking it's not that big of a deal, but it does actually impair your kidney function.
It does not.
Now, in a perfectly healthy person on a somewhat normal diet without too much protein, yeah, they'll probably be okay taking creatine, but there are plenty of studies showing that creatine can elevate your kidney creatinine level.
Creatinine is not a measure of kidney function. Only cystatin C is.
And it's also recommended that kidney disease patients...
Yeah, so normal people don't exercise and consume creatine. So in a normal, average, everyday person who doesn't exercise, doesn't supplement with creatine, elevated creatinine is often associated with impaired kidney function, but creatinine is a metabolic breakdown product of creatine. So if you're supplementing with creatine and doing a lot of exercise, which is going to cause more creatine breakdown, you're going to have elevated creatinine. That doesn't have anything to do with fucking kidney function, though. Only cystatin C is a measure of kidney function. This guy's such a fucking idiot.
Don't take creatine. And then they go and say, oh, wait, but no, creatine is perfectly safe. You're better off just eating high quality, naturally raised protein sources, beef, pork, and chicken.
No, you're not.
And not doing any crazy bodybuilding stuff, because when you follow an extreme diet, when you increase your protein intake drastically, when you're taking creatine,
protein intake is not associated with kidney disease.
And all of these other supplements, they do eventually take a toll on the body. And that's excluding the fact that these are made from like synthetic chemicals, and you're probably accumulating toxins from all these different bodybuilding.
Yeah. Chemicals.
One health secret you might not know about is called
Like how this dipshit pretends to not be gay and he looks like gayer than shit.
grounding, being in physical contact with the earth. We got the dogs out for TikTok, aka your feet.
Dude, I still do not understand these tattoos. It looks like a teddy bear for one thing. Somebody pointed that out. If you like trace it, it looks like a teddy bear. What is this shit? Like, I could kind of on some level understand the snake tattoos, even though they look terrible. What the fuck is that shit? And then he got that like fucking retarded Freemason tattoo on his neck. Like, there's something wrong with this guy. He's just so fucking stupid.
And our bodies are positively charged. The earth is negatively charged. So when we are in physical contact with the earth, we are getting natural electron antioxidants. But if you're wearing shoes, if you're inside, when you're not in contact, and people go very long periods of time, your body builds up inflammation. So you want to do this at least once or twice a day for a few minutes at a time. You can go for a hike, walk on the beach.
Just fucking retarded.
I'm going to show you how to make a testosterone boosting testicle smoothie, not for the faint of heart.
This does not boost your testosterone. It'll just make you feel sick.
First, you need some testicles from Frankie's Free Range Meat.
Bro, imagine if my balls were this big, I might be able to get a girlfriend.
Then you need to cut it up. I'm using about half a testicle because these are really large.
Then into a blender with some water, just a little bit.
Fucking disgusting.
Don't.
Gee, eating raw testicles or injecting testosterone. What's less disgusting? What will actually boost my testosterone? I wonder.
Blend it too long because you'll start oxidizing the proteins. And
what's funny is Frank is on steroids. Like, we know this. I don't think he ever ended up bothering coming off completely.
bottoms up.
That is just horrifically disgusting. Yeah, I think your average person would just vomit after eating that. Thanks for the donation, Sleepy.
He should address the 356 large credit bill.
Yeah, he's not going to do that. Thanks for the donation, though, James.
If Dr. Taban actually botched Frank as you said he probably did, then why do you have a problem with those kids confronting him besides them being retards 9?
It's just retarded. And we don't, like, here's the thing. There's always a risk with any kind of procedure or surgery. Like, when I got my knee surgery, I ended up getting an E. coli infection after it. That doesn't mean... Oh, jeez. What the fuck is with Frank's face? I have to... Oh, my God. It's not even any better. it doesn't mean the doctor is at fault or anybody did anything wrong that's like to the point of like negligence, you know. So if a surgery goes wrong, that doesn't mean the doctor did anything wrong. It can just mean you didn't respond well to the surgery. It could just be like, again, one of these things that just happens that has nothing to do with the competence of the doctor. So, like, harassing somebody's business when you have no idea what happened, you have no idea if the doctor's at fault, and, like, Frank, it doesn't even put in the effort to actually go through like the proper kind of effort to even sue the guy. Like the lawsuit Frank made is just a complete joke and he's trying to back out of it. So thanks for the donation though, 21st.
Why do men act like this, Richard? Men are so insane and unhinged and emotional. Men are crazy.
Hello?
Hi there, can you open this door, please?
For what?
I just want to make sure that everything's okay. There seems to be something going on.
What do you mean?
This seems fake, but okay. Thanks for the donation, feminist. Dude, I can't stand Frank's face. Holy shit. Skirt donated $2. Throw them out of Parliament. Polyev in favor of recall petition for floor crossers. Yeah. Look, it doesn't make any sense. So you have a bunch of MPs who got elected in as conservatives. You have a bunch of people who voted for them to be conservative. And then once they're elected in, I'm liberal now. Like, it doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, this is so anti-fucking democratic. Like, it's just retarded. So yeah, these people shouldn't be able to do this. It's kind of crazy how this is a thing that can happen in Canada. Apparently the libs are in talks with 9 other MPs to cross the floor and saying apparently they're bribing them by promising increased funding to their ridings to sway them. Well, yeah, obviously. Like, that last bitch who did it, she kind of let it slip that she's getting personal benefits for the floor crossing. So what does that mean? She's probably getting paid more, or she's getting more money in some way, you know, to help with like future campaigns or her particular riding, you know, stuff like that. They're getting like some kind of incentive or like basically bribe to cross over. And like, this is extremely typical of the Liberal Party in Canada. Like, you'll see, like, this is the case in every country. You'll see conservatives and liberals or Democrats, like, they're all corrupt, but they do corruption in unique ways. So, like in the United States, with the Republicans, there's a lot of corporate corruption. So you can see that plain as day with the Trump administration, where the tariffs seem to be a thing where they're just trying to advantage some larger corporations, with like, and it has shit to do with political donations. Democrats, it's more like throwing money at like friends of theirs for like stupid projects like housing the homeless, and it just ends up being this like massive money sink that doesn't do anything. Or like the crazy mass immigration and border crossings, like just to get more votes. So this is just what the Liberals do in Canada. a lot of it is like bribes, kickbacks to their buddies. It's what they do. So yeah. I can't stand the fucking liberal government, dude. Thanks for the donation, though, Scare.
If Pat wanted to transition to male, would you let her or would you break up with her over that? What if she just started identifying as non-binary? Would that bother you at all?
The non-binary thing probably wouldn't bother me. Like, I don't really give a shit. If she was actually trying to gender transition to male and was going through hormone replacement therapy and everything, yeah, that would bother me. I'd probably break up over that. Thanks for the donation on the 21st.
In the show 24, most of the terrorists that Jack Bauer catches are Muslim. Is that a coincidence? I think not.
No, it's not. Definitely not. Thanks for the donation, Ben Boy.
The full fight from Gideon's stream.
Let's go, Fox! Ooh!
I'm surprised they're both 130. This guy looks way bigger than this guy.
Work through it, work through it, work through it.
Did he just like manage to weigh in at 130 for the weigh-in? Because he looks closer to 150.
Whoa, 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 break, break.
It's fucking boxing. What the fuck is he doing?
Hey, little man. Hey, hold on. Break. Get it back, Fox. Get it back, Fox. Break. Get it back, Fox. Hey, I'll go over there. Keep your cool. You good, Fox? Ooh! 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 Work through it. Keep in the front. He's holding his glove. All right, break. Fight. Oh. Go to neutral corner. Hey, get back up. Get up. Here you go. So you got to stand back up. Who is? Take a break for 5 minutes.
Pretty pathetic. Thanks for the donation, nigga. $8 remember that Iranian Canadian called Goldie who goes on Piers Morgan? We'll listen to this news. 337.
My God, stop. Okay. There we go. Okay. Okay, Iranian Canadian activist threatened with criminal charges for post. Goldie Ghamari told she faced possible jail time for encouraging Iranian mosques to be bombed. Okay. What? Goldie, she faced. Okay, go this ad. Really? Oh my God. Okay, let's read those.
Yeah, Canada.
Sorry.
They are really, like, this is the liberal government for you, dude. They're really trying to turn this country into the fucking UK.
One of Canada's most prominent Iranian activists has been threatened with criminal charges for suggesting that Iranian mosques should be destroyed for being hubs of terrorism. Mosques in this is them quoting her. So Goldie said, "Mosques in occupied Iran are hubs of terrorism. Burn them down, bomb them." Since deleted.
How in the mother of a fuck, like when you're like especially when you're talking about another country.
Post on X from Goldie Ghamari, a former MLA in the government of Ontario, Premier Doug Ford. By the way, guys, they tried to make him delete the post, but now it's being quoted on news articles. So I don't know what deleting the X post did, anyways. I don't know what the.
Yeah, this is why you do not want to vote liberal. They're trying to get rid of your right to free
Frankie's
speech. It's fucking retarded. Thanks for the donation, eh?
Do you think Frankie believes the Artemis 2 mission was faked?
Very likely. Wouldn't surprise me. I don't think he's a flat earther, but it wouldn't surprise me if he thinks it's faked. Thanks for the donation, 21st.
If college is a scam, what do you think is the reason for bachelor's degree holders making on average $1 million more in their lives than non-bachelor's degree holders?
So let's see. If you have a bachelor's degree, those are generally 2 to 4 years, right? So if the average person getting a bachelor's would probably be like 23 by the time of graduation, and retirement age is 65. Wait, fuck. Okay, it's an average of $23,000 more over the course of a year. It probably has nothing to do with the fucking degree. I don't know what type of bachelor's you're even talking about, but most bachelor's programs are fucking garbage and aren't worth shit. It's just that people with a bachelor's are probably smarter in general and are more hardworking and outgoing, and it has nothing to do with the actual degree itself. Most jobs do not require any specialized education. You just learn doing your job, doing the job. So, we've created a system where basically you just have to pay a fuck ton of money just to get some like degree that's essentially worthless, just so that you can get a job that you didn't need the degree for. That's often the case, but you know, whatever. Thanks for the donation, Sleepy.
What do you think Frank's record is for amount of guys that barebacked him in a row in one night? I wonder if he's beaten my record. Doubt it. Cool face emoji, cool face emoji.
I don't know, man. You'd have to ask Frank. Thanks for the donation, James. Dodo, donate $2. Women never learn, do they?
Are you gonna run again in 28?
Listen, I might.
Yes, waste everyone's time and money. San sounds a bit like you in terms of getting mad and talking shit about geriatric old ladies.
Vietnamese refugee, we have endured suffering under the communist regime, and we believe that.
Okay, fuck you, dude. I mean, seriously, fuck you, old lady. Shut the fuck up, you stupid fucking idiotic old lady with your stupid fucking gamer headset. Who has fucked you harder, America or fucking Ho Chi Minh? Suck my dick, old lady.
I notice no one's fleeing en masse to go to communist countries, but many people flee communist countries to come to America. There might be a reason for that. Like, why are you living in America if communist countries are so much better? Like, I'm sure you have every opportunity to immigrate to China if you wanted. but he's not going to, is he? He's such a fucking bitch. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
How effective is testosterone as an antidepressant?
I would argue it is the most effective antidepressant drug invented so far. So that should give you some idea. Thanks for the donation, nigga. I gotta go take a piss. I'll be right back. Ugh. I just have to tinkle. All right, that is better. Oh man. Dodo, don't tell her this woman brain VG. This is textbook definition of woman brain.
This person who is an illegal immigrant, do you support that?
Yes.
We're trying to stop them from deporting Jose Medina, who was charged last week with shooting and killing an 18-year-old college student. Do you think somebody like that should not be deported?
If they are working, they are paying their taxes, they want to support this country, why they need to be deported?
Because he shot and killed somebody.
It depends why.
Allegedly.
The question is like why he wanted to kill somebody, and it's completely different. They wanted to do it or they did it.
They shot her in the back.
I'm sorry. This person shot somebody else, or
yes.
What did 18-year-old guy did to this person?
Nothing, and it was a girl, an 18-year-old girl who was hanging out with her friends in Chicago. She didn't do anything. She was just innocent.
Okay, I'm against killing to anybody, but just deporting because something happened, I don't think that it's...
Yeah, you're gonna find a disproportionate amount of women who'd have that view. Also, read through some of these. r/my boyfriend is AI. There's a fuck ton of girls. I found more women are actually using these AI programs to make companions compared to men, which is kind of funny. Who'd have figured women would be these fucking losers who can't get a boyfriend and need to use an AI? Pretty funny. Thanks for the donation, though, Dodo.
Botching is a business. And if you knew that plastic surgeons were trained in psychological manipulation tactics, you might not ever want to get plastic surgery. If you understood that these surgeons literally have a strategy, a business plan, a game plan, they know exactly what to do when you get botched. And these surgeons like to think they're smarter than everyone, but that is the unfortunate truth. These strategies and these tactics work on 99.9% of patients. I was fortunate enough to be able to see through them. And gaslighting is a more and more common word that people know. It's basically repeatedly lying to someone to get them to do certain things. And the most sadistic and end tactic that a lot of them try to do is drive the person to suicide. And that is unfortunate. That has happened in many of these patients that have been botched. So before you go into plastic...
Why would plastic surgeons deliberately try to fuck up a patient's looks? Like, it's just so delusional and unhinged.
surgery, just know that if you do get botched, they have an entire game plan. They own the lawyers.
Like, you can tell this guy is unwell. He looks like he's been up doing, like, meth or something.
They own the court system. So if you're foolish enough to believe that a lawyer wants to help you, those lawyers are taught to pretend to help the victims, to suck more money. They make money off of you being botched.
No, they don't.
Lawyers that are getting paid to pretend to help you, the other surgeons that are pretending to fix you, all the consultations that you pay for after you've gotten botched. It is a horrible, you could use the word satanic, pure evil. The strategies and tactics these surgeons are taught are pure evil, because these surgeries are so risky and they're not trained properly and they have such a high margin of error that if they were to do the right thing and people were to get compensated for being botched, they wouldn't be in business. The whole thing would have to shift and change. And hey, they wouldn't be in $15 million mansions. Maybe they'd be in $3 million mansions. Who knows? But that is the most important thing, or I guess one of the important things you need to know before getting into plastic surgery. That if you get botched, they are trained in what to do to trick you and gaslight you. And I'll make another separate video about like my perspective and what it's like to get botched and what the average patient experiences and goes through when they're botched.
Okay, well, that's nice and retarded.
Free-range meat has the most affordable prices online.
Tired of getting ripped off. Just look at the reviews for his website. He rips people off left and right.
Whether it's a ribeye steak or a whole beef, we will match anyone for 100% grass-fed and finished beef shipped to your door from local farmers. We have the fresh...
Dude, there's literally reviews on his website where people paid $800 for some like beef share thing, and it was never delivered. And they never like fulfilled the order, never returned any emails, never returned any phone calls to reimburse the customer. He literally just took their money and said, fuck you. And then when these people file chargebacks on their fucking credit cards, he starts flipping out and then threatens to like sue them and shit. And doxes them.
Freshest, the highest quality meat coming in every single week. And the simple reason for that is that's why I started this business. I got ripped off by a butcher when I was buying a whole cow. And I remember 4 a.m., pitch black, driving upstate New York, then loading up my cow at this rinky-dink butcher shop, garbage bags full of meat in my 2001 Ford Taurus. That's been etched into my brain. But what was even more etched into my brain was how quickly I depleted my freezer. And I was thinking, man, I enjoyed this experience buying the local beef, but I feel like I got ripped off. I spent so much money. And there's a lot of dishonesty and sketchiness in these butcher shops, which is why we charge per pound when you buy a beef on Frankie's Free Range Meat. And the current rate shipped to your door is between like $7 and $9 a pound for finished beef. And if someone's not going to tell you how much the cow weighs or what do you mean? You're buying a quarter beef, a cow can weigh 800 pounds, a cow can weigh 2,000 pounds, which is why we have 100% transparency in the weight and pricing of all of our meat. You can go on the website and see how much a ribeye costs and compare.
Yeah, so that's nice and stupid. Dodo $2. It's not that women can't get boyfriends. It's just that their IRL boyfriends don't talk to them as much as they want them to, or talk about their boring interests. And an AI can do that all day, 24/7. Doesn't cheat on them. There's no consequences. There's probably a variety of reasons why women are more interested in AI boyfriends. One, probably the biggest motivating factor for men getting into a relationship is sex, and you can't have sex with an AI chatbot, so. Whereas women are more interested in the relationship itself, so, on that level alone, there's probably more of an interest in the AI chatbots. Secondly, women are like insanely fucking like picky and stuff with their romantic partners, and when you can literally just program and train an AI chatbot to say exactly what you want it to say and do what you want it to do and everything, kind of removes that issue with dating. So it's probably a variety of things. Thanks for that donation though, Dodo.
You let the last one identify as non-binary and look how that turned out. I see you're still gay and cucked on that then. I see.
That's great. Thanks for the donation, 21st.
The thing is, Pat is more likely to want to identify as non-binary than most girls. Because your type of woman just happens to be the ones with slightly more masculine interests from the get-go. You want a girl that isn't super girly, plays games, etc.
Pat's pretty feminine, so I don't see her coming out as non-binary. Thanks for the donation though, 21st.
You're essentially into a tomboys. You want a girl who plays video games, will watch anime with you, has their own hobbies, is non-pacifist, has similar political views as you. Anyone like that is going to be more likely to ever identify as non-binary.
Yeah, I'm sure they are. That's great. Thanks for the donation, 21st. $21st, $22. Would you stop reacting to Frank on stream if I could show you someone who started buying from Frank's meat business as a result of finding him through one of your streams? I don't know, man. I'm not sure. Thanks for the donation, 21st. Dude. Oh my god. Oh boy. Uber Eats for VG, donate $2. Let me see. Yeah, I think I'd rather be eating that right now than the salad. Thanks for the donation, dude.
I remember you preaching to not give a girl too much attention. You would say give her the attention she needs, not the attention she wants. Is that what you've been doing by texting Pat endlessly every single stream? Ruining your streams over that lamau.
Yes, that's exactly what I've been doing. Thanks for the donation, dipshit.
Fat doesn't lift the weight. Muscles do. Slow cut is the way. You'd maybe stop fainting doing a rep on OHP.
I'm not going to bother watching that, but thanks for the donation. Smash you on your head.
Joe Linton is easily my favorite moderator.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. Thanks for the donation, 21st.
Wow. Richard wants a girl who shares the same hobbies and interests as him? Shocker.
Yeah, I know, it's weird. Thanks for the donation, Son Goku.
Family member? Right here, Catherine.
Gross. Yes.
How many kids do we have now, Catherine? We have 1 and 2 and 3, 4? Is that correct? 4. You want to give a little... I got lights, microphone.
Yes, I'm poor. Let me have more kids.
I got the tripods and green screen. New laptop that I bought, MacBook Pro. Prices, oh, you can see the ceiling is not very high up. The MacBook Pros are way more expensive than I remember buying my previous one for. Even the phones, everything is getting very expensive nowadays, which is actually one of the reasons why I started working for myself again, is because most regular jobs don't really provide enough of an income to sustain this big family that we have, especially on one income. And of course, being at home gives me more time, more flexibility to be with the kids and take breaks in the day to, you know, help out or to do some activities. Although the downside is that, you know, you could get a lot of crying and knocking on the door while I'm in the middle of something, but that's just part of it. I wouldn't trade it for anything, so I'm very blessed for that. While we're at it, why not show more of this stuff? So this is a little project that we got going on right now. Getting some firewood chopped up in this machine thing here. Ready for next winter. Now I think last energy bill we had was like 600 euros. That's a lot. So yeah, this is the house. And that right there is a playground. Spent a lot of time playing here. Spent a lot of time eating here when it's summer. There is a lot of fields. We never know. Barely recognizable for some of you guys. But yeah. Here we go.
What the fuck is with the stupid music?
Now on the way home, enjoying some peanuts, organic peanuts with ginger. Let's see what Lucas got. He got some bananas from the store. People addicted to dates. So that is true. It's better than...
Yeah?
You can see Catherine's still very hard to please.
No, I'm just out of breath from running with a stroller.
Jesus Christ. That's his wife. Oh, what a fucking pathetic loser. Oh my god.
Gig officially second best mod, sorry Gig.
Yeah, that's true. Thanks for the donation, Booty Cam. He's such a tremendous fucking dumbass, dude.
Problem of Donald Trump's America's and Israel zone.
Is this accurate?
The fucking fellas, bro. Let's get these fucking games.
It's been 2 minutes since he last responded. This bitch sucking dick. I just know it. I just know it. Oh my god. Can't none of you fucking pussies outlift me. I just beat my...
Okay, that's gay. No. Thanks for the donation, Pooh.
Real niggas recognize real niggas 21st.
Yeah. Definitely. Thanks for the donation, Booty Cum.
Chill niggas, I'm just pointing out that Pat is more likely to identify as non-binary in the future as a result of a survivorship bias from Richard's particular taste in women. And no, you've certainly been giving Pat more attention than what she needs.
That's great. Thanks for the donation, dude.
Making that is proving devilishly difficult to solve. Despite a weeks-long punishing air campaign over Iran, where the American and Israeli air forces have enjoyed complete aerial supremacy, that has obliterated the majority of Iran's air defenses and missile launch capabilities, that has killed swaths of Iran's most senior leadership, and that has sunk the vast majority of the tonnage in Iran's surface fleet, which have all led to Trump repeatedly claiming
burps underway.
That's great. Really looking forward to it. Thanks for the donation, Booty Cum.
victory in this war, the Americans and Israelis are still failing to counter Iran's greatest weapon of all, its ability to shut down the critical Strait of Hormuz through which 1/5 of the entire global supply of oil and liquefied natural gas travel through. There are, in essence, two different wars currently being waged by both sides in this conflict that are both equally lopsided. The first war is America and Israel's aerial war being waged against the Islamic Republic, that they are winning, while the second war is Iran's separate.
Bro is making fun of John's wife, but I don't think you're one to talk, nigga lol. I could say that. I could make fun of his wife. But you can't. For obvious reasons. Loser.
Sure. Thanks for the donation, dude. Did you see Mia Khalifa record herself crying about the strikes in Lebanon? I didn't see it, but somebody told me about it. I don't give a shit about her.
War against the global economy that the Americans and Israelis are busy losing. From the very beginning, the Iranian regime knew that they would never be capable of winning a conventional war against the dramatically technologically superior Americans and Israelis. They knew that they would have no easy method of evicting American and Israeli warplanes from their airspace. But they also knew that the Americans would have no easy method of eliminating their ability to shut down the Strait of Hormuz either. And by extension, no easy method of removing Iran's capability to wreak havoc on the global economy as a pressure point to end both of these.
Look, what this guy isn't considering is Iran can't just shut down the Strait of Hormuz. They need it to make money too, so it would open up anyway.
These wars on their own terms. The Trump administration evidently catastrophically miscalculated Iran's willingness and ability to actually do this, and
This guy is a fucking idiot.
misjudged just how hard it would be to stop Iran once they did it. And as a result, America is now
The Strait of Hormuz is opening up regardless of anything that fucking happens. It's the only way for Iran to make money, so.
currently trapped in what is rapidly becoming the biggest foreign policy mistake since at least the Iraq War in 2003.
I'm not watching this. This guy's a dumbass.
Several others found themselves without a working
I don't need to listen to 30 minutes of somebody who doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about.
vehicle, but thanks to a social media post, found her tank of gas could possibly have water in it.
I immediately called the mechanic and I asked him to just check the gas. And
The mangusiest of mangus donated $2. Oh my god, that might be the mangiest mangus. Wow, that is a very mangusy mangus. My goodness. They're so handsome. Oh, that's nice. My goodness, I love groundhogs. Wow, he's so person. That's amazing. Oh. Oh my god, they're so person.
Wilbur, you don't get gold medal. No. Yeah, you stick that big in your mouth. Good job.
My goodness. Oh. Wow. It's a little baby. That's good. Thanks for the donation, Mangiest of Mangus.
More incoming.
Guess what my record is.
Okay, that's great. Thanks for the donation, dude.
What you don't realize is Iran's been making money. Their ships have been exiting the Strait of Hormuz the entire time. Iran is making more money now than they were before the war. Because of the increase in oil prices, and they are getting oil out.
They're not. Thanks for the donation, eh?
Wholly performative. If that guy did this to me, I would have decked him.
You see this? Get the fuck out of here. Don't ever fucking bother me again. Get the fuck out of here, man.
Okay, thanks for the donation, Pooh.
And so he siphoned, a water bottle out and found that it was, at least 50% water. And then once he had cleared out all the gas lines, the car was just running fine.
Fitzgerald, not the only resident to have this experience.
It's extremely frustrating when you've got a truck that's just over 2 years old. It still has warranty, and now you're out over $1,000 for repair just for putting in what you thought was good fuel.
Fitzgerald made her own post on a community page, and other residents advised her to file a complaint with the technical.
Bootycom donated $2.
Look what this dude is wearing.
These are just... I'm not gonna put the audio on that. Thanks for the donation, dude.
Technical Standards and Safety Authority, or TSSA, which regulates gas stations, making sure they follow standards and make sure fuel isn't leaking. The TSSA confirming they received 3 complaints of contaminated gas from the same station.
That's what prompted us to set up an inspection and send someone out to see what was happening at that gas station. It isn't something that happens that often. I would say, maybe about once a year that we become aware of across the whole province.
I've had several cars come in.
Mechanics in the area saw a rise in water in fuel tanks over the last week.
The only saving grace is that this time of year, it's not cold enough for the water to freeze. Because if the water to freeze, you'd be destroying fuel pumps, fuel injectors, fuel lines, possible tanks as it expands. So they got off really cheap.
Adding to take your vehicle to the shop right away if you think your tank is contaminated.
Get into the shop right away. Don't drive it. Tow it if possible. Get them to suck the fuel out and see where the...
Why is Latin America so poor? You can drive south from San Diego, one of the wealthiest cities in the richest country in the world, and within minutes of crossing the border, pass through neighborhoods crisscrossed by dirt roads with open sewers and houses made out of old plywood. It's 2 different worlds right next to each other, but separated by barriers made of concrete and steel. How is that even possible? On the American side, the household income is 8 times higher. People live almost 10% longer. Now, there are nice parts of Mexico, but south of the border, infant mortality is twice as high. And most adults, they don't even have a bank account. Their murder rate is 4 times higher than the United States, which really isn't even a low-crime country. So, what happened? Latin America has great natural resources and farmland. And the gap isn't explained by geography or genetics. The raw ingredients for wealth are all there, but the wealth isn't. I'm Ken LaCourte. I dig into uncomfortable questions, and I try to give you honest answers instead of polite ones. For this video, the answers involve history, culture, policy, and choices that are still being made today. And there's no easy villain that lets everyone off the hook. We'll work this through in 3 parts, starting with the legacy of colonialism and what that left behind. Then we'll look at its replacement, which in many ways became...
Iran isn't blockading or attacking their own oil tankers. Are you alright? Plus the US unsanctioned Iranian oil to help lower the price of oil lol.
Here's my take. Well into the 2nd month of the US-Israeli war, it is worth taking stock of where things stand. Here's what things looked like in Iran and its neighborhood before the war began in late February. In June 2025, Iran's nuclear enrichment conclusion with Syrian gold of the costs of this.
That's great. I don't care. Revived, cocked, only tellers, sup VG. Thoughts on this take and what was your ending in Detroit Become Human? Connor Deviant, Marcus Cara, everyone survive.
Guys, the collab stuff is programming your brain to accept transhumanism. And I think this guy right here is helping convince a generation of young men that their biology needs fixing or patching or something in order to ascend. And it makes a lot of sense when you consider that this guy is a self-described transhumanist, who also happens to own Palantir, the company that is currently trying to take over the US government.
You would prefer the human race to endure, right? You're hesitant. Yeah, well, I don't know. I would.
And where it gets really weird is that some guy named P has donated a ton of money to him over a really short period of time, and he also got invited to some party at a billionaire's house who happened to be our guy, Peter Thiel. And when interviewed about this, he got super mad and actually accused the interviewer of being funded by Peter Thiel. I mean, you got like 14-year-olds out here doing Nazi skull science. And a 14-year-old doesn't really read the article or know the framing of it. They just see a Chad that they want to be like, and they want to act like and emulate because they want girls just...
Clavicular looks like a skinny kid. Like, I don't know.
Just like every other 14-year-old does. They need Chinese peptides in order to ascend. Then they're just one step away from putting a chip in their brain that will have Claude or whatever other...
Like, dude, Clavicular looks like a skinny fucking teenager. I mean... This video is fucking stupid. I don't fucking care. Like, this is just a dumbass. I played Detroit Become Human twice. The first playthrough, I had a good ending overall, and then the second playthrough, I just made everyone die. Literally everyone died, which was good. Thanks for the donation, dude.
You definitely don't have a nuanced or fact-based understanding of the situation in the Middle East. You have some things right and some things completely wrong and idiotic. Sorry, but it's true. Hope you can stop being an ideologue and accept nuance soon.
That's nice. Thanks for the donation. Dodo donated $3. Let me see.
It can't be just peace in our time. We have a 10-point deal and they've agreed to this. I just think it's going to be very, very complicated, very, very difficult. And I would say this to the President of the United States. I personally know that you will do the right thing, that you're going to try and make sure that it works for now and forever. And
blood and treasure.
I don't fucking care. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
in the United States.
That's my own stream. I'm not watching any of those other links. Thanks for the donation, dipshit. Kid Boo, $20. White men in the United States need to start turning back to this.
You do it now? Yeah, take a shot, motherfucker.
Hey, get out of here.
Yeah, I'm a fucking citizen, you fat shithead. You're a nigger. You're a fucking nigger.
Do an impersonation of Mila Kalfir bitching about Israel striking Iran.
Israel shouldn't strike Iran. They're wasting all their money on bombs when they didn't even pay me for that gangbang blowjob bukkake video. Wah. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Real Law's position on Iran and the Middle East is nuanced and sensible. The only thing I really disagree with him about is his characterization of Israel's actions in Gaza as a genocide. If you look past that mischaracterization, he's spot on Iran.
That's great. Thanks for the donation, dumbass.
I'm gonna kick this.
Yeah, well, thanks, Kid Boo.
Independence without order. And finally, we'll look at how the rule of law permeates everywhere through a society's economy. So, for 300 years, Spain ran Latin America. A lot of people blame them and the legacy of colonization for what happened, and there's a decent amount of truth to that. First, though, let's look before the Spanish showed up, because Latin America wasn't an empty wasteland waiting to be discovered. The Aztec, Inca, and Maya, they were some of the largest and most sophisticated civilizations on Earth at the time. They had huge cities. The Aztec capital in Mexico was larger than any city in Europe in the 1400s. They had complex economies and agriculture systems that fed millions of people with sophisticated irrigation, terraced farming, and crop rotation. By the standards of the day, they were massive and often pretty wealthy. But it wasn't a nirvana. Most of these were tough, brutal regimes. The Aztecs kidnapped their neighbors and forced them into slavery, or sometimes had their beating hearts cut out as sacrifices.
Yeah, that's fucked.
And speaking of Iran VG,
I do not care when I hear about it isn't real casualties. Cannot bring myself to care about the deaths of psychopaths. It isn't real. Society full of evil people. Don't want to live anywhere. Don't want them in my community. I'm not reading this whole thing. Whatever. He's an asshole. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
To the gods. The Incas' governing tactics? The state owned nearly everything, controlled the distribution of food and labor, and even told people what color of clothing to wear. Everyone worked in a system where power
So they're basically communists.
was concentrated at the top, and the rest were told what to do. Not that the conquerors who replaced them were much better. But here's a critical difference between the colonization of North America and South America that I didn't understand until looking into this. The Spanish didn't come to settle. They came to plunder. They wanted to strip the gold and silver, then go back to Europe as wealthy men. And they took a lot. During that time, they extracted thousands of tons of silver from the region, about 80% of the world's total production over that period. Almost none of that stayed in South America, and it was one of the greatest wealth transfers in human history. Now compare that to North America. Britain's colonies didn't have mountains of silver to grab, so there was no easy extraction play. Colonizers there had to build functioning economies just to survive. Farms, trade networks, courts, local governments. The people who settled North America went there to create a new life, not just to get rich and go home. So before we talk about the legacy of the Spanish economic model, there's another factor we need to get into that made everything worse, and it doesn't get enough attention. Disease. Epidemics of smallpox, typhus, influenza, and more. They swept the Americas following European contact, killing between 10 million and 100 million people. Estimates range from 50% to 95% of the indigenous population. The native people of the Valley of Mexico dropped from 1.5 million people in 1519 to about 70,000 by the mid-1600s. And some Spanish Caribbean islands were just wiped out. Think about what that does to a society. The farmers, the engineers, the administrators, the people who know how to make the irrigation systems work. They were gone in short order, and the population levels in some regions didn't recover until the middle of the 1900s. Those Aztec and Inca empires were functionally destroyed not by Spanish military genius, but by biological annihilation. The Spanish conquered the remains and then built their colonial system on top of the wreckage. And then there's the matter of
Dodo, Donny Teller, so basically Dark Snovia just admitted he is an anti-Semite by saying anti-Semite is just a buzzword for Zionists to use. I mean, kind of known he's an anti-Semite for a while. Thanks for the donation, though, Dodo.
Religion. In 1904, German sociologist Max Weber published an interesting book arguing that there was a deep connection between Protestant Christianity and the rise of capitalism. Protestants believed in predestination, that God had already determined who was saved, and over time they...
Can you crash Ryan's stream? Just stop in and say hi.
Rock guitarist, but no, he's amazing.
He has me banned on his stream, so I can't comment. Thanks for the donation, 21st.
Began looking for signs of that salvation in worldly success. Profit and material achievement became evidence of God's favor. Work hard, save, reinvest. And as it turns out, the Protestant work ethic is a pretty good way to build a solid economy. The Catholic Church, it offered something different. Salvation through sacraments and submission to church authority. Your fate in the next world wasn't tied to your productivity in this one. Now, that may be the recipe for a good life, maybe a good eternal life, but not as much for a wealthy one here on earth. Weber's thesis is deeper than that, and it's been debated and picked apart ever since. But there are a lot of correlations between wealth and the two religions that start to look like causation. To me, it certainly looks like a contributing factor. Okay, so those who blame a lot of Latin America's problems on colonization often point out that the systems built by Spain created inequality from the very beginning. And they're right. The conquistadors got massive land grants and the labor of everyone living on it. So a tiny elite owned nearly everything. There was no broad class of small independent farmers or landowners, no tradespeople building their own shops. In the United States and Canada, the middle class became the engine of growth and the foundation of democratic stability. In Latin America, that just didn't happen. But before we get too hardcore about the Spanish, now the story gets a little complicated. because colonial history alone doesn't answer everything. In other parts of the world, we routinely saw societies overcome colonial setbacks pretty quickly. In the 1950s, South Korea
Poop,
coming
scat,
out...
feces, shit, defecate, dung, manure, excrement, droppings, waste, doo-doo, dump, poo, crap, making a deposit using the loo, sharting, chocolate train, bowel movement, soil, sewage, feculence, you, ara, 777,777,777,777 you, ara, Dookie Hershey squirts turd stool number 2.
Yeah, that kind of makes me want to eat chocolate. Chocolate's pretty good. I like chocolate. Thanks for the donation, Ben Boy.
This is just more proof that religion is cancer.
It really is. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Out of Japanese colonialism was really poor. Today, it's a wealthy, advanced country with a per capita income on par with much of Europe. Singapore is another great example. It was a poor port city with essentially no natural resources. Colonized by the British...
Watch this nigger, I will donate to Ryan so he will unblock you.
And I like her, not because she's not necessarily the most like best singer, most best. You know, I'm trying to say like a virtuoso, but I love her tone, I love her style. It's a lot like Angie, but I didn't go just because I just don't want to go. I'd rather just watch them in my living room.
Unblock Vegan Gains, please.
Wow.
He wants to apologize and reconnect with you. He's streaming right now. He's on an apology tour and apologized to Durian Rider the other day and is planning a stream with him. Unblock, please.
You know, that's nice. Thanks for the super chat tip there, 21st. Is that your name? That's interesting to know. Thanks for bringing that up. And if that is a sincere intention on Richard's part, I tip my hat even though it's backward. Totally cool. So if you're watching, Richard, cool. If you're like, you know, on some kind of I don't know, you're thinking differently now. Cool, you know, that's good because from when I blocked you, you were thinking extremely toxically. That's you know, I don't block people because I'm a dick or anything like that. I block people who are being toxic to me because I just don't open myself up. It's like I don't want to let you in my house, you know, and chill with me because that's not how I roll. So anyway, my point is awesome. I'm still not quite convinced if this message is true and sincere. This person could be telling the truth. This person might not. I don't know. I have no way to fact check it. So I'll have to, this will kind of be a wait and see. I'll wait to get more evidence and see if this is a real thing or some kind of weird trick or something like that. It wouldn't be the first time someone's tried to trick me on YouTube or social media. So I said, if it's true and sincere, that's awesome. And we'll just take it from there. I'm just not ready right now at this point to block someone who's come out and attacked me for bullshit reasons. No evidence other than vibes. Ooh, you know, it's knowing what I feed my cats, even though I've never made videos saying this is what I do and this is what all you vegan.
Yeah, I figured he'd say something like that. Thanks for the donation, 21st.
And handed its independence with almost nothing. When I was born, its GDP was comparable to Ghana. Today, it's one of the wealthiest places on earth. The pattern is real, and you can see it. Countries that built functioning institutions and open economies, they caught up to and sometimes surpassed their former colonizers. Countries that didn't, they stayed poor regardless of their colonial history. So the colonialism argument isn't wrong, but it's only part of the picture. But maybe the worst thing that Spain left behind wasn't poverty, but it was a model of power that said laws are for other people and wealth belongs to whomever holds the power. And when they left, the model didn't change. It just got new management. Hey, before we get to that, I want to remind you how quickly life can change. A few years back, I was driving home, which is linked below as well. Okay, so back to understanding Latin America. Why didn't it start thriving when the Spanish pulled out in the early 1800s and turn into a continent full of Singapores and South Koreas? After independence, there were 16 new countries with natural resources and good farmland. And there were millions of people looking to build something new. But it became independence without order. The failures weren't immediate. In fact, the early post-independent decades looked pretty promising, especially in the southern cone of South America. By the 1880s, Argentina was genuinely wealthy. Not developing nation wealthy, but really wealthy. Buenos Aires was called the Paris of South America, and it wasn't hyperbole. By 1913, Argentina's per capita GDP was higher than France, Germany, or Italy. Uruguay wasn't far behind, and Chile was raking in money from mineral deposits. A lot of people thought the Southern Cone was on its way to becoming another United States or Australia. Then the wheels came off. The problem was structural, and it started with something boring but lethal. The economies were built almost entirely on commodity exports, like Argentinian beef, Chilean copper, or Brazilian coffee. When global demand was high, things were great. When it dropped, and it always does, the governments couldn't pay their bills, and debt crises became the norm. Foreign investors pulled out, local currencies collapsed, the booms were spectacular, and the busts were terrible. And they repeated and repeated. That chaos affects people psychologically. When your savings evaporate twice in a generation, you stop trusting the systems. You also support politicians who say they'll fix it fast. And through the cycles, the politicians who promised stability and prosperity were replaced by other politicians promising the same. And sometimes they were replaced by generals who promised stability and no politics at all. Between 1930 and 1980, Latin America saw more than 70 successful military coups. And yes, some of those involved the United States, although they were a small fraction overall, but they were concentrated in the biggest, most strategically important countries. That instability whacked economies. I mean, to make both small and large businesses work, you need to believe that a contract signed today will still be valid in a few years, that the rules won't change mid-game, and that the person you're dealing with will still be around. Latin America offered none of that. So serious long-term investment, it went elsewhere. And even for honest politicians who held power, they knew that that was likely temporary. So that means you're not thinking of
Dodo donated $3.
There's only one way that this ends. Number one, America has to put tremendous pressure on Israel. Take all the money away instantly. Number two, the Israeli people, I believe in their morality and their decency. Please, I'm begging you, Israeli people, okay? Vote Netanyahu and the right-wing government now. Put in Benny Gantz or whoever it is and go towards a two-state solution. So now how do you get the two-state solution so that Israel can be safe? You get somebody, whether it's Benny Gantz or not, to go and work with the Palestinian Authority. The Palestinian Authority.
They've already done that twice, and guess what happened?
At that point, putting pressure on...
Actually, more than twice. Closer to 4 times.
Palestinians, not Hamas, because Hamas is never going to bend to pressure. But Palestinian Authority can. You get the entire Arab world and America to put pressure on the Palestinian Authority to do a peace deal with the Israeli government. And that's the two-state solution. Then you take the Palestinian Authority and you put them in Gaza and say, hey, they just got you a state. If they were able to deliver...
Right, and then Hamas would kill them all.
For a Palestinian state, then they would...
Jenk is the dumbest motherfucker in all of existence. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
I spent £5 on scratch card and won £15.
That's a good investment. Thanks for the donation, Bootycam. Gummy, what are you doing? What are you doing, Gum Gum? Throwing a little kitty tantrum. What are you doing? Oh. Silly kitty. He's cleaning up my bowl of lettuce. Oh my god, he's being a jackass.
Really even dumber than Trump.
Yeah, Cenk is dumber than Trump. Yeah, definitely dumber than Trump. Thanks for the donation, Dodo. Why are you being a jackass, Gummy? Oh my god, he's just fucking running around like crazy. He usually does this before he gets tired.
About 20-year infrastructure projects, you're thinking about how to solve the immediate problems before someone else takes your job. And the temptation for easy fixes can go really bad. One temptation is nationalization.
After the Iran war is over and the dust settles, Netanyahu needs to leave government. Not because he did a bad job or anything, but simply for the reputation of Israel worldwide. Need to get people back to supporting Israel. Can't do that with Netanyahu.
That's great, don't care. Thanks for the donation, stupid.
This obvious propaganda video convinced me. I now think communism is the future.
祝愿世界和平美好，幸福快乐。
That's great. Thanks for the donation, Ben Boy.
Really? How so, VG?
'Cause Cenk's a dumbass. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
When you see an ongoing, successful business, you take it over for the people. Venezuela is a great example. When Hugo Chavez took power in 1999, Venezuela controlled more oil than any nation on earth. The state oil company had actually been competently run for years, but Chavez took control. He renationalized it, again, for the people. Then he ran it into the ground. After a strike, he fired 18,000 experienced employees and replaced them with political loyalists. He literally fired executives on TV, live. The new people in charge did all right for themselves, but they stunk at the oil business. So a company that once produced 3.5 million barrels of oil per day later struggled to produce 800,000. So if you ever wondered how a country sitting on more oil than Saudi Arabia goes broke, that's a little insight. Another easy temptation for politicians is trade protectionism. The logic sounds reasonable, and it's popular. Protect local industries with tariffs on imports so they can grow without foreign competition beating them up. The problem is that industries protected from competition, they just don't get better. Automobile tariffs in 1950s Brazil created a local car industry that charged people twice the world price for cars that were a decade behind in quality and technology. Local consumers paid the price, and the industry, it never had to get good because it never had to compete. Then there's the most dangerous, easy fix of all, printing money. When governments can't pay their bills, the printing press is right there, and it's painless until it isn't. And that pain is inflation. From one example of many, in 1985, Bolivia's inflation hit 23,000%. That means a cup of coffee that cost 1 peso would rise to 230 pesos in a year. Workers spent their salary the moment they got it because it lost value by the hour. Vendors stopped counting money. They started weighing it. High inflation, especially hyperinflation like that, doesn't just empty wallets. It destroys the social contract. And when that goes, governments usually follow. And I'm not talking about just a few random events. It became practically a Latin American tradition. Look, there have been thousands of books on the Latin American economy with different theories and statistics. If I've made a serious mistake, let me know and I'll fix it below. You can find my notes and my fact-checking documents down below there too. Okay.
Dodo donates.
I'll do with that. I'll chip it all back from where you got it from.
I'm in here.
Yeah.
It gets cleared up, but after like 10 minutes, the same.
People have told me, come to Spark Hill, so I've travelled here today. Is it always like this, Litter? Really?
You know what the problem in this country is?
Yeah, they're bloody throwing rubbish all over the place. This is our country, you gotta keep it nice and clean.
Exactly, man.
Some of these bastards. As you can see, it's a fucking...
Doing it. They still...
Can we watch this again? VG's talking to the fairies. Yeah, he's talking.
Earlier this week, Dario and the Anthropic team pulled the ultimate trust me bro power move when they announced Mythos, a model so powerful, so capable, so veiny, that they claim the fallout for economies, public safety, and national security could be severe if it were to be released to the general public. And as you can imagine, this has everyone losing their collective minds again.
Something very familiar about all this.
Some are saying Mythos may lead to the entire cybersecurity industry collapsing under the weight of our new god in a box.
Because the security implications of a model that is this capable are terrifying.
While others are saying Anthropic is just repeating the same model release playbook we've seen countless times before, is scare the slop out of people, then quietly release a model that can't even code a Svelte 5 to-do app. For us, in our parasocial relationship, it's like a fun game of Russian roulette, but instead of getting shot in the head, you have to become a ranch hand, and I have to start teaching tutorials on how to collect turkey semen so you can deploy genetic payloads into production hens. In today's video, we'll break down Mythos, and I'll show you my bulletproof guide on how to update your software fast enough to not get zero-dayed, but slow enough to not get supply chain attacked. It is April 10th, 2026, and you're watching The Code Report. I'm tired, boss, because every time a new model comes out, it seems to bring on a new form of mass psychosis. Midjourney was going to make all human art obsolete, but now nobody talks about it. GPT-4o had an entire subreddit feeling love for the first time, and now Mythos, without even being publicly available, has many feeling existential dread for the first time. And the reason for that feeling is that during Anthropic's internal testing, they discovered that Mythos is basically a zero-day vending machine. It found a 16-year-old vulnerability in FFmpeg, which allowed an attacker to craft a malicious video file that tricks the decoder into writing a few bytes of data outside its allowed memory, potentially crashing the program and corrupting nearby data. It was also able to find a 27-year-old bug in OpenBSD, allowing a remote attacker to trigger a null pointer write, which instantly crashes any OpenBSD machine reachable over TCP. In every major browser, it was able to run a train on a few JavaScript engine bugs that lets a malicious web page escape the browser's sandbox. In one case, that allowed it to steal data across websites, and in another, it was able to write directly to the operating system's kernel, giving an attacker full control over the device the moment the victim opened the web page. And my personal favorite, it found a bug in the Linux kernel which let it flip a single bit in a neighboring memory page, which turned the password executable into a writable file, which it then overwrote to gain full root access to the system.
I found more bugs in the last couple of weeks than I found in the rest of my life combined.
And just yesterday, U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Money Printer Powell is set up an urgent meeting with bank CEOs to warn of the security dangers posed by Mythos. So it's no wonder that Dario is pulling inspiration from House Harkonnen and locking down control of the spice, with the announcement of Project Glasswing, a new initiative that brings together a collection of companies that happen to pay Anthropic a lot of money in an effort to secure the world's most critical software via access to Mythos. The idea is that Mythos is too dangerous for a default config NPC like you to have, but perfectly safe in the hands of a dozen trillion-dollar companies and a bank. Anthropic's plan is that the Fellowship will quickly patch all of the world's software before anyone else builds a model this capable, which, if it's up to Sinister Sam, now that OpenAI is no longer acting as the fluffer of slop gen AI videos, will hopefully be any day now. But not everyone is convinced that Mythos is that capable. Anthropic has been using Mythos internally since February 24th, and since then, they leaked Claude Code's source code, leaked documents revealing the existence of Mythos, and have had a very rough time even keeping their APIs online. On top of that, the way Mythos actually found these exploits is a little sus. Like the OpenBSD vulnerability came out of 1,000 parallel agent runs across the codebase, costing nearly $20,000 in compute. If you use the same process with Opus 4.6 or GPT 5.4 Pro, you'd probably find plenty of issues as well. And the Firefox numbers developers are doing something similar. One of the claims is that Mythos hit an 84% success rate at writing working exploits in Firefox, which is a massive jump over Opus 4.6's 15%. But that number isn't against actual Firefox. It's against a SpiderMonkey shell with the process sandbox and other mitigations turned off. So that begs the question, is Mythos going to destroy the world? Well, in my expert opinion, it almost certainly will not. But is Mythos a real step up from Anthropic's current flagship model, Opus 4.6? Probably yes. Either way, we'll just have to take their word for it because
it's a big club and you ain't in it.
But if you want to try an amazing tool that you can actually use today, you should check out BrowserBase, the sponsor of today's video. It's a complete platform for building and deploying browser agents.
Well, you know, AI, you know.
What fairies? I don't see any fairies. What kind of fairies? Fairy godparents.
Yeah, probably fairly godparents. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
So all those easy fixes, the nationalizations, the tariffs, the money printing, they share one thing in common. They're government actions in systems where the rule of law is weak. That's not a problem you can fix with a few policy changes, because it's a problem that took centuries to create. And when you trace it back, you can see the recurring theme of the caudillo, the strongman. After independence from Spain, Latin America didn't automatically transition to rule of law. It transitioned from one strongman to another. They operated in systems without too many formal rules after the colonial order fell. The guy with the army made the laws, and then he changed it whenever he felt like it. That means strong, independent judicial and political institutions never got created, because dictators don't need those. Let's look at a fairly simple but vital element that was missing: land rights. If your family's been farming a piece of land for generations, but can't prove they own it, that means they can't use it to get a loan and buy a tractor instead of farming with an animal, or other machinery that can grow a small farm into a larger one. It's the same with homes. Without a legal title, a family can't use it as collateral for a loan, or sell it efficiently, or build a business on it. Peruvian economist Hernando de Soto spent his career documenting this, and he found that about 70% of the land holdings in Lima, Peru, lacked proper titles. It's what he called dead capital, locked out of the formal economy. And Lima isn't the exception, it's the rule across Latin America. The same dynamic plays out across the whole informal economy. A man opens a fruit stand or a small repair shop. No permits, no registration, no taxes. But he has to stay small and invisible or the government notices. So he can't hire employees legally, can't sign contracts, can't grow. From the outside, these
And speaking of fairies.
If he is an average chimp that no one understands, Mom and Dad and Big 8 always giving him commands. The ticks and fleas up in those trees are coming down instantly.
Yeah, thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Hey, if you had fairy godparents like Cinderella or Timmy Turner, what would you wish for, VG?
Let's see. Probably just many, many billions of dollars. And probably godlike powers. That'd be great. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
economies look vibrant, but they're bound. The entrepreneurs don't lack ambition or ability. They're locked in a system where it's hard to grow. And when you combine a caudillo mindset with rules that are haphazard, people stop believing those laws apply equally to everyone because they don't. Once that trust is gone, corruption becomes the norm. Heck, corruption becomes rational. I mean, if a government can take what it wants, why would you play by the rules that only you seem to follow? You bribe the official, you pay off the policeman, you cut a deal under the table, not because you're a bad person, but because that's just how things work. Look, in some countries, when you're driving and get pulled over by a cop, You don't pull your license out of your wallet, you pull out cash. Now, I've traveled a decent bit, and those places never have strong economies. Systemic corruption rots out the whole economic system, and the overlap between a corrupt society and a poor society, it's pretty much 100%. I could spend hours on this, from land rights to contract enforcement to so much more. Succeeding in a business is hard enough under the best of circumstances, but when the system isn't just, it can be overwhelming. I knew a businessman in a high corruption country that once he became successful, the mafia came looking for their share. And he couldn't call the police because there was a good chance they were in on it as well. His solution? Move to the United States, where he knew that he could work hard, build wealth, and not have it stolen away from him. And when they can, people often vote with their feet. 30 million Latin Americans have done just that. And it's not just the lower class people fleeing poverty. Mexico
Ben Empanada said he wants to debate me. Well, that's too bad. I'm not going to waste my time with that dipshit.
alone has lost over 1 million college graduates to the United States and Canada. A lot of people who fled are skilled professionals who want to thrive in a better system. In some Caribbean nations, about 70% of college-educated professionals leave, looking for better opportunities. And the people leaving? They're the exact people a country needs to fix itself. So it's a vicious cycle with no easy exits. So it's easy for an American to feel good, maybe a little smug, when we see those other countries. But the people on both sides of that border, they aren't that different.
Before we start today's video, please subscribe to our new channel.
The Fairly Odd Parents had such a great theme.
Yes, they did. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Jasmine, 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 Jasmine.
Great, fuck. fuck? Fucking bullshit.
Is this game Durian Rider? Is this game Durian Rider? Is this game Durian Rider?
Whoa! Got it. Where would you be without me, eh, Dax?
Well, Jack, I probably wouldn't be 2 feet tall, fuzzy, and running around in a sewer without a pair of pants. God, I miss pants.
I'm tired because I'm dieting. Holy fuck.
It's good to see you still alive.
Seal off the area.
Remember, even friends might be enemies. The city needs your sacrifice. It is better inside.
I hears you to look for a piece of Mars shiny seal. Brute loves shiny bright things too. I have piece of things. It in water slums hanging over me hot, and you free to have. Gift from Brute. This area is off limits. Patrolling
Oh
sector
my
9.
god.
Be advised, I'm on foot. Moving to the next sector.
Turn in all subvert.
I've got suspicious activity in this sector.
So there I was, toe-to-toe with 5 of the nastiest metalheads you ever saw. Slide flame oozing from monstrous jaws, teeth sharper than daggers. Slowly, all 10 of them surround me. But do I surrender? No! I summon my highly trained killer instincts and pounce! Ya! Kwa! Wah! Ha! And when the dust cleared, there were 20 less metalheads in the world.
Oh, Daxter, you're amazing.
Yeah, I know. Scratch me there.
Quite a story there, Golden Boy. I guess you're just the animal I need for another dangerous gig. Combat metalheads have now been spotted right here in Haven Forest. These new bad boys have special camouflage, so they're tough to spot. But I'm sure with your killer instincts, you'll manage. Go to the forest and take them all out. This is a no-hover zone! Nothing so far.
This is Baron Praxis.
I've got suspicious activity in this sector. Please advise. Suspect's description. Sweeping for suspect.
Sleepy, donate $2. These fitness videos are hilarious.
Now, this one's going to save you guys a lot of time in the gym. You should always be supersetting contrasting muscle groups. Depending on the intensity and difficulty of the exercise, every
Dude, his hair is so retarded. He looks like Beavis and Butthead.
single set should be superset. If I'm doing chest cable flies, then I'll go do a set of glutes on the leg press. There is no interaction. It's opposites. Sometimes I'll even do like pull-ups and dips as a superset, which isn't as great because your shoulders are involved in both of those movements, but maybe I'll rest a little bit with calf raises in between those sets of pull-ups and dips. If you're doing an arm workout, it's very efficient to superset biceps with triceps. They are minimally involved in each other's movement. You'll cut the time of your arm workout in half. And if you can't go back and forth between the bicep and tricep exercises without rest, hey, do some calf raises. When you're too fatigued to do contrasting muscle groups, always do bodyweight calf raises. Now, I don't really know how much of a secret this exercise is because you could always find a video of some golden era bodybuilder doing some crazy stuff. Those always pop up, but I've only seen people do this with cables, and I'm guessing it's not as popular is because most people like using really heavy weights, which can make it difficult to do certain exercises like this. So it's basically an underhand dumbbell fly. So yeah, again, normally people use cables, but if you take pretty light dumbbells and you relax your biceps, you relax your shoulders, you can bring them up and really flex your chest at the top. Now,
that is not a chest exercise. That is just stupid.
The difficult part of this exercise is keeping the front delts out as much as possible. So you're
He looks so fucking gay and retarded.
really like stabilizing and flaring your lats out, and then you bring the dumbbells up almost.
Yeah, very gay and retarded.
The larger the muscle is, the more volume it will generally take to tear down the muscle fibers. It has to do with your ability of mind-muscle connection in working that muscle. When you do bicep curls, it's very easy to flex and take the bicep to failure. So you only need 1 or 2 exercises max. The larger muscle groups like glutes, you might have to do 2, even 3 exercises for each part of the muscle. You know, you have the inner part of the gluteus maximus, you have the outer part of it by the hamstrings, you have the gluteus medius on the side, and then you have the upper part of the gluteus medius by the lower back. Same with back, very large muscle group. In my maximum volume hypertrophy training routine, back is 30 to 40 minutes, chest is 15 to 20, and then shoulders and arms.
Well, that made no sense. Thanks for the donation, Sleepy.
Patrolling Sector 9. Be advised, I'm on foot. Sweeping for suspects.
Oh my god, what the fuck? Where the hell are these waypoints?
This is Unit Alpha. We're en route. Nothing so far.
Opening outer shield.
Whoa. Jeez.
What do you think of my blue the mod?
He is bluer, so I guess that does in fact make him more blue. Thanks for the donation, non-lib. Fuck. Why didn't he turn? Oh my god. Fuck this. I have to do that all over again. Literally didn't even turn into fucking Dark Jack.
Channels David on China and David Zhang 360. Links
Fucking
are in the
retarded.
description. Welcome to China Insider. Professor Zhang is at it again with the propaganda.
Why don't we go try to have a democracy in China?
So I've been in China for 25 years, and I can tell you there is almost no interest in democracy because for democracy to exist in China, for democracy to happen in China, you would need to have people who respected human rights, individual liberty.
This one is seriously misleading. Chinese people, according to him, don't want democracy because it's not in the Chinese DNA or the Chinese blood. For a democracy to exist in China, you need things like human rights, individual liberty, people who have empathy, who believe in the rule of law. And apparently Chinese people do not. Now, this argument is fundamentally a direct CCP narrative. It is one that they've been using to say that China isn't fit for a democratic-style government, instead one where it is totalitarian. Okay? So the question obviously is, are there other examples of similar people who have a democratic system? Well, how about Taiwan? Very similar, right? Chinese generations transformed into a democracy. How about other similar Asian countries in East Asia, let's just put it. South Korea, Japan, Singapore. All vibrant democracies closely related to Chinese Confucius teachings, and although different countries, Singapore being one of the closest, obviously, democracies. Or how about the fact that in China in 1989, during the June 4th Tiananmen Square massacre, we clearly saw student protesters demonstrate the desire for democratic changes, and that happened right before the eyes of Chinese people.
Who had empathy, who believed in rule of law.
Okay, and then the part about empathy and the lack of rule of law, this is somewhat true because I spend a lot of time in my videos talking about the moral decline within China.
No, never played Blood Rain.
Materialistic views. This again, though, is not the reality before the Communist Party took over. And even then, with all that being said, you still see widespread public reaction for injustice online and in society. You see online outrage over corruption. You see online outrage over certain social issues. And you still see people, I mean, all of the videos that we source come from Chinese social media. So you still see the expression of, or the resentment towards the CCP and otherwise, right? There's a grassroots mutual support in some cases during crises, and we've seen this with demonstrations, with protests. In many of these cases, you can't generalize something. There's expressions of moral expectations in any society, right? Because that's the hope that people can get that this can turn around. And so even if this doesn't directly translate or is qualified to translate into a Western-style political structure, it doesn't mean the empathy side or the basic decency doesn't exist. I mean, the CCP tries to wipe it out completely through the introduction of make more money, which I'll talk about in a bit. But the fact that many of these moral issues presented in the videos come from within China shows that people are posting about this and they're mad about it, right? Where Chinese people fail is seeing the source of the problem. They think that this comes from individuals opposite of them. They think that this comes from a certain class inside the circle of ordinary people that's creating these issues. But the CCP is the one that's creating these conditions in the first place, and it's the one that's trying to keep people not thinking higher than those problems surrounding them. And so I mean, this can go both ways. You know, the reform and opening up introduced a lot of corruption. The CCP basically said that make money and make lots of it while being corrupt is the way to go. That was the leadership mantra of Jiang Zemin, the former CCP leader during the 90s and early 2000s. And so with the other side, right, being Mao Zedong, which through decades of political campaigns, literally killing millions of people to achieve so-called total political loyalty, this back and forth
I think I'm gonna have to eat more. I'm very tired. I am barely functioning at this point. So, I think I might start eating more food. So, starting tomorrow, I think I'll do that. Just way too tired. Yeah, now that I'm bigger and I'm on steroids, I think my metabolism is just too fast to eat this little. Just literally dying. So we'll do that tomorrow. But I'm gonna go to bed now. Hope you all had fun. Big thanks to everybody who donated on Streamlabs. Really appreciate it. I will eat more and have more energy, so things are more normal. But nighty-night. Thanks again, and I'll see you all tomorrow.